Okay, I'm going to show you the basic components for the irrigation system that I'm setting up for my greens this summer. First we'll start with the headline tubing, and it's like a 3/4 inch poly tubing. You can get at most greenhouse supply stores. And this will run the entire length of your series of beds, and I'll show you that. But what you want to do to hook your irrigation, your drip tubing up to it, is you have this little tool here, and this is a punch. If you're not going to do a lot of this, this is sufficient. If you're going to have a lot of tubing that you want to do, then I would suggest you get one that is almost like a pliers type thing with a handle that you squeeze together. It's much easier to do than this. So this has a little serrated tip on it, and you put it in your headline tubing, and you just turn and push, and it puts a hole through it, and the little piece goes right here. And it's a little bit of a pain because you have to pop that piece out in order to be able to really effectively keep working. The next piece that goes in is the valve with the barb on one end and the coupler on the other that hooks onto the drip tape. You take the barb end and you squeeze it in until it snaps. And what this does, when it's like this, this is your water supply here. And when it's like this, it's turned off. And then that allows your drip tape to receive water. The next thing that happens is you have your drip tape. And in this case, this brand is Aquatrax, and the blue stripe goes up. But basically what you do is you take this piece here, turns both ways, and you want to turn it as far open as you can. Slide on your irrigation tubing, your drip tape, as far as you can, and really this is much easier if you let it sit out in the sun a little bit and everything gets warm. And then you turn this the other way, and that locks down on your drip tape and holds it in place. Now what I'm doing in my summer greens bed is I'm planting 20-foot sections a week. And what that means is that there's going to be big sections that don't need water for a while, for a couple weeks perhaps. So what I'm doing is I'm putting in a coupler with a valve so that only the parts that are planted will receive water. Now I've already put in the drip tape, but I'm going to go back through and I'm just going to cut it like that. Add the valve to both cut ends, like so. And so if this section here I'll have planted, that will go on. If the second section hasn't been planted yet, then that goes off. And so I'm not wasting water. And I don't have a lot of water here to waste. I have to be pretty frugal with that. So I'm going to actually have 4 sections like this, because I'm planting 20 feet at a time. I have an 80-foot bed. And so I'll just go down every 20 feet and install another valve coupling. At the end of the line, you'll put a stop on it, and that has the same sort of connector. It's a twist connector, and you just slide that on and twist it tight, and that's it. That's your basic irrigation setup in a nutshell. Okay, this is the configuration at the beginning of the header tube, and it starts out with an adapter, a quick connect adapter to go onto a hose, and then it goes into a filter which will get rid of sediment so that doesn't get in your irrigation line. and then an adapter for sizing to go into this, which is a flow restrictor. That keeps the water pressure from blowing apart your tubing. And then it's just a simple hose clamp, and then your header poly tubing. Very simple setup, not hard to do. Okay, this is the area I have for my summer greens experiment. Right now it's in afternoon shade. It's late afternoon. And that's part of the reason I put it here, is so that it wouldn't get the heat of the sun all day long. It gets early morning shade and late afternoon shade. Now, just 1 week ago, this was rototilled and planted, and then the beds were covered up with landscape fabric until the plants germinated, which was just in a couple of days because they were well watered in. And you can look here. Take away some of these bags, and we have germination in all 3 rows. So this is looking good. I have Swiss chard, and then quite frankly I cannot remember what the other 2 rows were, which was which. One's arugula and one's mustard. The center one must be mustard. It's looking a little red. And so the bright green one on the other end is the arugula, I believe. So that's good. Let's cover it back up. This is insect netting, which I'm hoping will keep the flea beetles and whatnot off of this. It seems to be helping. There's bugs on the outside of it. Here's the other bed. You can see in here, these are also germinating. All 3 beds. I have spinach and turnips, and I don't remember what else. This is why I write things down. Now, a little bit later today, I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to extend both of these beds. I'm going to take off this plastic and this landscape fabric and plant the next 20 feet of beds. And I'm going to continue on till I go down to the end of the 80-foot row. And hopefully by the time I get to the end, I'll be harvesting the first 20 feet. Now right on the other side of this is my lettuce, which looks pretty good. Some of it succumbed to heat, but it's not doing too bad actually, so that's a good thing. Okay guys, that's it for today on these beds. What I did at the end there is I just covered them over with landscape fabric so that they will stay moister. They germinate much better that way. The sun doesn't get a chance to dry them out so much. And what I'm going to do then is check on them every couple days. Probably 2 days from now will be the first time, and then maybe every day after that. And as soon as I see that they're starting to germinate, then the landscape fabric will come up, and the hoops and the insect barrier will go over it immediately to exclude things like flea beetles and the root fly borers and that sort of thing, which tend to really make crops unsellable and unpalatable. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found it interesting, and I'll see you next time.